here with the producer by the name Versus. He moved to America the summer of 2015 to chase his dreams. Where were you born?
I'm born in Romania. It's a country in Eastern Europe. And I don't know how much people know about it, but it's like most of the countries in the Eastern Europe bloc, it's not that wealthy. And to me, it was the greatest experience I ever experienced, you know, moving out here. So yeah.
So how was life growing up for you back at home?
Bro, my first 20 years, as I said, I was in Romania. I moved here when I was 20. It's different, you know, but Europe and US is different. It doesn't really matter what country you're in. Food is different, people are different, everything. It's like when I moved here, I was like, shit, it's a whole different world, you know, in a good way though.
Okay, so when did you start listening to music?
I started listening to rap music when I was like 6, and you know, growing up, I was listening to like local rappers and stuff, and afterwards I got into American rap music. And when I was like 18 or 17, when Chief Keef first came out, that's when I got in love with Chicago rap, with drill music. Okay. You know, and with the whole story, like the way they were portraying it overseas, it sounded like something that's really, really dope, you know.
Okay, you mentioned you was listening to music back in Romania. Like, who was some artists you was listening to at home?
Man, some people, I think I started, it was a group called BUG Mafia. So it was some gangster rappers. There was some other guys called, if you was to translate, they were called like Quality Control. Other people, let me think, man. Cedric, he was a guy that I was listening to a lot, but that was when I was younger. Afterwards I stopped listening to Romanian music, you know, since I was like 15. I was listening just to people from out here.
So how old are you now?
I'm 22.
22?
Yeah.
So when Chief Keef came out, you said that really turned you on to Chicago?
Man, I was like, when I think it was 2013 when he came out, or 2012. But I heard of him like 2013. I was like 18 at that time. And I liked the sound. I didn't really embrace the message, but I liked the sound and the culture and everything, you know. So I was obsessed with it, bro. That's what I was listening to all day. Just Chief Keef.
Name some of your favorite songs from Chief Keef back then in 2012.
Like I started with the album Finally Rich. Okay. When it first came out, but even those songs that that sets up, I think you produced that, right? That sets up. I like that. I like that bang. But yeah, Finally Rich was my favorite album at that point. Yeah.
So since you produce, like, who are some producers that influenced you to start producing and making music?
Young Chop. Young Chop was the biggest one, I can say, as far as making beats. And also when I first started making beats for real, which was like 2011, it was Lex Luger.
Lex Luger?
Yeah. Oh. When he first came out with that, with Waka Flocka, with Gucci, you know, and when he first, like 2010, 2011, yeah, Lex Luger.
Okay, so by you being from Romania, the Count Dracula story kind of started like out that way, like growing up, like what kind of story did you hear?
So look, the guy, it's actually a real guy, and his name is Vlad. My name is Vlad too, by the way, my real name. So I'm gonna tell you the story real quick. So it was like a ruler in my country, like a king or something, if it was for me to translate the word, and he used to be very cruel. Like, his name was Vlad the Impaler. He used to impale people. That means they would get a big stick, stick it in your ass, and do make your that's how he was killing people. You know what I'm saying? Like he used to impale people. That was a practice that he used to torture and kill people. So when what's the name of the Brian Stoker, the guy that wrote the book Dracula? When he came to my country and he heard the story about that guy, about Vlad, he was like, oh, he was thirsty for blood, blah blah blah, so let's make him a vampire, you know, let's market him that way. But the castle, it's real, that you see in the movies, the story, it's kinda true, you know. he wasn't sucking blood and stuff like that, but the castle, yeah, that's all real. And I've been to the castle and all that stuff. So if you ever visit, it's a real place.
Okay, so all the sucking blood and transform to a different form is like, that's just all Hollywood.
That's just marketing, yeah.
Right. So everything besides that, based on the story, is true.
Yeah, yeah. It was just a really cruel guy, you know. Well, he was ruling because he was like in the 1500s, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, he used to impale people. That was his main practice of killing people.
So did you have your name Versus before you came to America?
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you get that name Versus?
So as I said, my real name is Vlad, and my last name starts with S. So I put them together, you know, V, S, and that's short for Versus. So that's how I came up with it, yeah.
So you came to Chicago to do some music. Did the Chicago gang violence like have any concern with like your life or anything? Was you scared?
Man, I was never concerned, but I got into a lot of situations because I wasn't concerned. I can say I should have been more careful in the beginning, you know.
Okay.
But I was going to all these places, like just walking in Inglewood, you know. I actually used to live on 63rd Street when I first moved out here. I put myself in a lot of dangerous situations for this music shit.
I was gonna ask you because on your first Instagram post, you actually put, "You're going to die, so live, #Chicago." So
Yeah.
you're actually like experiencing now. So you said you thought you would have like kind of thought about it a little more.
Yeah. So I was at that point. I was like, man, I'm really willing to risk everything for this dream. You know, to be a producer in the city. And if I have to go to bad neighborhoods, if I have to be around gun violence, just to be able to pursue this thing, I'm willing to do it.
You willing to do it?
Yeah, so that's what I did, yeah.
So now that you work with like multiple Chicago artists, like have anybody that you worked with been hurt by gun violence?
Yeah, I actually had people that I worked with that actually died and people that got hurt, you know, and not in front of me, but yeah, it was a couple people that, you know, unfortunately they actually they were victims to gun violence, you know.
As a civilian living in Chicago, like how do you feel about Chicago gun violence and street gang violence?
I mean, it's like, to me it's all random, because if I don't gangbang, the worst thing could happen to me is being caught in the middle, right? So as far as that, I'm not concerned about anything, and I don't go in bad neighborhoods like that like I used to anymore, because right now people come to me since I have a studio. But yeah, man, in the beginning I was concerned, but right now I don't have to put myself in that situation anymore, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
That must be a good feeling.
Yeah.
So like your experience, like living, you say you lived on 63rd, like on the outside looking in, like when you look at the neighborhoods, like what do you see from being from a different country, and like what do you see like going on? What's your look?
So with me it was different because I did my homework before I came. I saw all the videos, I read all the articles about it, you know. I knew what was going on. So I wasn't stupid enough to go out in the nighttime or go in a back alley and, I don't know, ask for weed or whatever, you know, because people get caught up, get robbed in stupid situations like that, right? You go in a neighborhood, you don't know nobody, you go in a back alley trying to buy some weed or try to do some shit that you're not supposed to do. I was smart enough not to do those things. So as far as that, I did my homework, you know. But if somebody else, maybe coming from where I'm from and being used to the lifestyle we're used to, they would have shit their pants, man, being in some areas, you know, in the city. Just seeing, you know, what's going on around, you know.
So it's like a lot of negativity when people think about Chicago, but just like meeting the people and seeing like firsthand the violence. Like, how long have you been making beats, Versus?
As I said, I started in 2011 making beats for real. I mean, I first opened FL Studio when it was FL4. I was like, what, 9 years old, but making beats for real since 2011, 2010. Yeah.
So how long does it take for you to make a beat?
Right now I make a beat in like 5 to 10 minutes.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
So like, do you use a lot of sounds?
I don't overthink it like that anymore, you know. Like when I first started, I was making sure to use sounds on top of sounds to stack them up, blah blah, you know. And after a while I was like, man, I'm just gonna let it flow. So I use 3-4 instruments the most on a beat. I got 1 or 2 go-to 808s that I'm using, 2 or 3 snares that I use all the time, a clap, a crash, and pretty much a hi-hat, and that's it. I'm trying to keep it simple.
You got like a signature that you throw in there that people might not have to code?
A what?
A signature.
I have a tag, but as far as like a signature sound, whenever my beats drop, they don't drop with the 808 right away. Like 808 it's always gonna come like couple seconds after the drop. Because you know, when you have a build up and people expect you to drop with an 808, my beats don't do that. It just drop with a regular crash or whatever, and afterwards the 808 comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of production for like Chicago artists. Do you have any production with like pop artists and R&B singers?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to come up with some names right now. Man, I actually did some pop songs with recently with a Chicago artist that he's not necessarily pop. It's a Dilo from the West Side.
Yeah.
We did some pop records together. Other than that, I could say more random people that are not that established yet as far as pop beats. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming with Dilo as far as pop
like
music.
Like those type of music?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that type of vibe.
So, you're working alongside Rich Laurel. How did you two meet?
Oh, I've been, I first reached out to him, I think it was last year around this time, like 1 year ago. And we were just networking, you know. We never actually got a chance to collab or to link up. But since July 2017, it's like 6 months ago, we actually partnered up. It happened like all of a sudden. We just partnered up at a studio on 35th Street, and afterwards in September we moved here at the Music Garage. And yeah, I can say he actually showed me a lot, you know. He, as far as the engineering, he told me a lot of important things that I used in my business. So yeah, to me it was very beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's known for his excellent engineering, his production. Do you two guys have anything coming out soon together that you guys
his album is coming out. He's doing everything as far as his album. He's recording, making the beats, mixing, mastering. Okay. So as far as that's his own preference. He want to keep it just you know, solo throughout the whole album. I think he got like 2 or 3 features, but as far as beats, mixing and stuff like that, he wants to keep everything solo.
Okay.
Yeah.
You posted on Instagram that you started your own label, Universes. What all services do you offer to your artists?
So I started the label like 1 year ago. I actually had an artist signed under the label for a while, but things didn't work out, you know. And me personally, I went with the old business model, like get an artist, sign him, invest money behind him, you know, try to put him on. Okay. The old-fashioned, you know, business model. But I figured out that doesn't work anymore, you know, or it didn't work in my situation.
Why you feel it doesn't work?
Because I feel that you don't really need a label like that no more, and I feel that the expectancy of the artist, it's like it's not too high, but it's different than what I was expecting, you know. Like to me it was, even though I was investing everything, I never looked at it as me being the label and him being the artist. I looked at it as us coming up together. Right. You know, he looked at it in a different way, like me being the label and him being the artist, which is a whole different story, you know. Right. That happens with major labels usually.
Are you currently looking for artists right now?
I'm always looking for artists, yeah.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for when you say that you are looking for artists?
Yeah, people that are different. like I don't care how good you are, because I mean, of course, it's, don't get me wrong, it's, the music is supposed to be good, but don't focus on being good or being the best. Focus on being different more than anything else, because being good or the best is just relative, you know, in music.
Right.
What sounds good to me might sound, you know,
sound good to somebody else.
Yeah. So as far as that, just try to be different, and when I see somebody that's different, I'm trying to kind of test them right away, you know, like I either give them a task or I either tell them, hey, meet me here at this time or whatever, you know. And that's just me trying to prove myself if that person is worth my time and my, you know, investment. And so far it was very few people that were on point with everything for me to be able to go forward with the process, you know.
Okay, you do a lot of things. You do PR, public relations.
Yeah, I do. I actually went to school for PR and communications and marketing. I'm doing marketing. I'm working with people that I'm developing, that they're paying me a monthly fee to take care of their social media and stuff. Other than that, you know, I got the studio, I got the beats, I got access to a huge network, you know, of people and stuff like that. But as I said, it's about finding that person that's 110% committed, you know, not 90% or 99% or, you know.
And you do that every day throughout the year.
I'm very, very, very picky with that stuff after the experience that I went through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're like into fitness. Like, how long have you been locked into the gym?
I've been working out for a while, since like 16, 17, and yeah, when I first moved to Chicago, I stopped working out for like a good 6 months, but I got back in my gym schedule. So
yeah. So you kind of fell off a little bit.
I fell off a little bit, but I'm back at it.
All right. So you're doing the fitness. You don't smoke. Do you drink socially?
No, but I used to drink and do a lot of other stuff, you know, but at some point I quit everything for like a whole year, you know. Afterwards I got back into it, you know. I started drinking, started smoking here and there, you know, but since 2018 I quit again everything, you know.
Congratulations.
So for me it's like that, you know.
All right. So you also got a chance to go to Atlanta, Georgia for the first time. How was that experience?
Yeah, I was there last summer. I was at the Street Executive Studios, you know, just with one of my artists that I used to work with out of ATL. We just had a studio session. I didn't run into nobody famous or somebody relevant at that time, but I seen 2 Chainz used to have his album Girls Love Trap Music or something like that, with the pink trap house. You remember that marketing that he had? And they actually had that trap house not too far from the Street Exec Studios. It was a real house, a real pink house.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was a bunch of people around buying CDs and stuff, and when I seen that I was like, man, this city is really doing, you know, some dope things, you know.
We did interviews with like other Chicago artists, and they mentioned that Atlanta artists work together more. Like, what's your opinion on that?
From what I've heard, yeah, it's true. I can't speak too much on it because I was not in Atlanta for too long, but yeah, I hear that a lot. I think it's true.
Okay, so what are some other things that stood out in Atlanta?
As I said, everybody was networking with each other, I can say, you know. Everybody was asking, oh, where you from, blah blah, you know. And for them, being more in a southern state, for them it was even more not weird, but I'm trying to find the word. It was more of a surprise, me having an accent and being in this industry, you know. Because maybe in Chicago you have a lot of people from overseas, more immigrants, but in the southern states it's not that common. Yeah. So for them that was their thing, like, oh, where you from, blah blah, you know.
Okay, so like, what are some other cities that you got a chance to visit since you've been in America?
I've been everywhere, other than the west side, other than West Coast, like LA and Bay Area. I've been to New York a couple times. I've been to Miami this summer. ATL, and I drove all the way to Miami. Actually, I took a road trip, so all those states, you know, all the way to Miami. I stopped in most of those cities, you know. I never been to Texas and LA, but other than that, yeah, I've pretty much been everywhere.
So how was that road trip? You got any like stories you want to share? Anything crazy went down?
So I was with my girlfriend at that time, and it was more like an experience for me to see the country, and to I don't know, to try to find what's different about every state, you know. And you know, when you go from one state to another, you hear a different accent, you hear a different lingo, maybe a different slang. So that was interesting, and the reaction, people's reaction towards my accent was different in every state, because here in Chicago it's not a big deal, you know, but the more you go south, the more surprised you get. Yeah, but no crazy experiences.
No crazy experiences.
No.
TM88 said he hasn't got paid for his production for the Uzi XO Tour Life. He grossed over $6 million. Like, as a producer, have you ever had any situations like that happen before?
Not that bad, because I don't have no hits under my belt that sold 6 million. But I'm familiar with a lot of situations where producers didn't get paid, so I know it's a thing in the music industry that everybody's trying to screw over the producers. Me personally, I just went to a small situation where I wasn't sent the paperwork for a track I produced on a mixtape that was supposed to be pushed by a major label, and when I ran by accident into the manager that was supposed to take care of that stuff, she had no idea that I was one of the producers of the song, and I made sure that she sent me the paperwork, you know, right away when I ran into her. So at the end of the day, everything was cool. But I think it depends on the person and how different people handle their business. Because I actually had a good experience too with a manager that did his whole 9 yards. He reached out by email, phone calls, and he made sure all the producers got paid on a EP that was pushed by Atlantic Records. We signed the contract, we got our advance money and everything. As far as what he was supposed to do, he did everything right. So I really think it's about the people more than you know. But yeah, it's a thing in the music industry.
We recently did an interview with Leaky Leak, and he talked about the dream. He said the dream is when rappers say, "I got you, man, when I get on." Like, have you ever had, well, in the beginning of your career, was you like giving out beats?
Yeah, I was giving away a lot of beats, and even to this day, and I bet any producer or engineer can relate to this. A lot of people are gonna come in your inbox all day long. Hey bro, let's do some stuff together, and when I blow up, I got you, you know. That doesn't work, man. That never works, you know. And it's just the fact that people are scared of contracts, you know. I feel that a contract, it's a tool that, especially if you're a producer, you should use all the time, and you should have it with you, even though that's gonna make the rapper very uncomfortable. It's gonna make him think that you're gonna make him sign his life away. But if you understand contracts and if you use them, it's gonna you know, get you you're not gonna have to go through a lot of bullshit, because what's paperwork? It's paperwork, you know. Word of mouth nowadays doesn't mean shit.
So when do you bring up the paperwork? Before the artist shows up, or after the song is made?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not comfortable showing artists the contracts, because that's, first of all, that's what managers should handle, and I know their reaction towards that, you know. So that's a solution that I think would be beneficial, but it's not happening in real life, you know. Like, no artist is gonna sign any type of contract, because that's their biggest fear, contracts, you know. Signing something, a piece of paper.
When it comes to like artists and producers sending famous people or people they want to collab with music, sometimes artists or producers change the phrases or the melodies in songs and try to use it themselves? Have you ever seen situations like that before?
I heard a lot of situations like that. I actually heard big groups like Migos. They were taking beats from producers and having other producer maybe slow down the sample or just remake the whole beat, you know, just change couple sounds. And yeah, no, that's a practice that a lot of people use. I don't know how true it is, but because I wasn't there to see, but I heard a lot of situations like that, and it happens even on a bigger scale, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why do you think that that's allowed, or the industry partakes in someone stealing somebody else's music?
Because everybody wants to get a piece of that pie, you know, piece of that cake. At the end of the day, it's like everybody's hungry for that small percentage or whatever they get, because we all know that music industry, you know, it's a, let's say, it's not a lot of money in it as people think it is, you know. It's more smoke and mirrors, it's more flashy, you know, like if you got couple millions to your name in the music industry, you're somebody, you know. You got 10-15 millions, you're established, you're whatever. In other industries, with 10 million, you're considered broke, you know. Like if you don't go in, I don't know,
like class, sort of say.
Yeah, or even real estate, or I don't know, in tech industry, right? A company that's worth couple million, it's considered, you know, a failure, for example. But in the music industry, since it's a lot of hunger, and it's not too much money in it, and it's few that make a lot of money, few people that know their paperwork and they got their paperwork together and collect all their money that they're supposed to, then those people are gonna win, you know. But I feel that, yeah, going back to what you were asking me, is that everybody wants a piece of that cake, you know, and everybody wants to say that, oh, I did this to the song, I contributed to, you know. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that situation, for example, where it's more like a Chicago fact, when French Montana tried to get credit for one of Young Chop's songs. Actually, Young Chop had a song with his brother Johnny Maycash, which I worked a lot with in the past, and he used to be one of my favorite artists, very talented guy. They did a song, it was called Paranoid, and Young Chop was smart enough to have that song on his YouTube channel, but he kept it on private. He never posted it to the public, right? So French Montana did a verse to it, and what he did, he got somebody else on the hook, and he tried to drop the song with somebody else on the hook instead of Johnny Maycash, and with the same beat. And of course he gave Young Chop the credit for the beat, but he tried to redo the whole song. So then when he dropped it, Young Chop made that private post on YouTube, he made it public. And it was seen that that song was made years before French Montana dropped it, and it was actually their song. So when French saw that, I think, I don't know what was the situation, but he dropped the song again, and he actually got back with Johnny May on the hook, and they did a video with Johnny May, you know, and they released the song the right way. But it happens a lot, and I don't see a reason for it. I don't know why people are doing that, you know.
That's crazy. I never seen it firsthand, but for people to get jacked for their money, somebody might have to get jacked up. Oh no.
It happens a lot, man, in this industry, you know, and especially in the rap music. It happens a lot because it's more like I don't know, more like I don't want to say street mentality. I want to say like mafia type of mentality, you know.
Say that
because
the strong preying on the weak.
Yeah, it's all about, you know, that type of mentality, like people trying to intimidate other people, you know. If you don't keep your frame, like especially if you're producers or engineers, you know, people are gonna come try to get 2 hours and a half instead of 2 hours, or come on bro, throw me a deal, or this and that, you know. And I don't want to say you gotta be an asshole, but you gotta be very strict, you know. Like me personally, I don't care, man. If you're late, you know, you're late on your time. You pay whatever, you know. I don't do deals if I don't know you for a long time. If I don't know you're serious, you know. I don't even do sessions without upfront payment, with especially with new people, you know. So as long as you're on point with your business, you're not gonna go through no bullshit. But you gotta be extra cautious in this industry, because people's always trying to get a deal, and if you keep doing deals, you're just gonna short, you know, yourself.
It'd be the deal, man.
Hell yeah.
You got a chance to do some work with DJ Milkshake. He's the official DJ of GHerbo.
Yeah.
How did you two guys meet up?
I reached out to him as well on Instagram, and I invited him to my studio. I was like, bro, what's up? Let's make some beats, you know? Let's link up. And he was very open about it. He was very cool. He just came to my studio one day, and we actually collabed for a long time. We were making beats almost every day, and afterwards he got his studio in another side of the city, and lately we haven't been collabing that much, but we still keep in touch. We still FaceTime, you know. And I can say he helped me a lot in this game too. Yeah,
he showed you some things.
Yeah.
He got like a fun, like, happy personality on like social media. Like, how was it like being in the same room?
It's the same in real life. We have a lot of fun. Yeah, Milkshake is a funny dude.
Okay. Do you listen to GHerbo music? You like GHerbo?
I listen to his music, but I can't say I have it on my playlist like that all the time. You know, I listen when I get a chance, you know, or when he comes out with something new, just so I can be on updated, you know, so what's going on in the city. But yeah, other than that, I don't really play him all day long on my playlist.
Do you and DJ Milkshake have anything like in the stash and involved that might be coming out in the future?
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff. We actually had a lot of stuff with GHerbo too. Songs that I heard that I don't know when he's gonna drop or if they're gonna get dropped. But me and Milkshake produced a lot of songs, man. I can't even think of how many we did, but we did a bunch of songs together for different artists in Chicago. We did contests, challenges for artists, like we were giving away a free beat and telling people that you gotta do a 30-second freestyle, and whoever has the best freestyle is gonna win a free session with me and Milkshake. And we're gonna produce the song, and Milkshake is gonna host and promote the single, you know, on my mixtapes. We did I think 1 or 2 challenges, and yeah, I did a lot of stuff with Milkshake.
You stay busy. Like, you're currently in school for shot virtual reality seminars. Can you explain what that's about?
So that's actually a new venture, a new industry. You know, like, I feel it's one of those moments when, you know, in the 70s when the internet came around, like when the internet first started, I feel that is the same moment right now as far as the VR. You know, virtual reality is like, until you actually see it, you won't understand how it's like, because it's all a sensation. You know, you put a VR headset on and you're in a whole different reality, because your brain can't really make the difference between what's real and what's just sensation, you know. So after I first put my VR headset on, I started doing research, and I connected with the biggest VR community in the Midwest, which is Shy VR. But so far I'm more like an enthusiast and passionate, and I do some work as far as the VR, but it's not that consumer friendly yet.
Right.
You know, people don't know about it, and unless you put a VR headset on, it's very hard for anybody to tell you what it's like, you know. But it's more like 360 videos, pictures. I have a 360 camera that I'm using to shoot VR videos for artists, you know. And it's all about the people that want to innovate right now. Like, whoever understands that this new trend is gonna be very popular sooner than we think, those are the people that are gonna take advantage of the opportunity, you know, to shoot a 360 VR video or a picture or stuff like that, you know.
Okay, so is it currently available and it's just not in high demand, or it will be on
It's available mostly for the gaming platforms, you know.
Okay.
Like they have this platform, it's called Oculus Rift, which is owned by Facebook. They have the HTC Vive, which is owned by HTC, by Sony, no, by HTC, and they have the PS4 VR, which is owned by Sony. These are the three main platforms, right, and as I said, they're mostly for gaming. Okay. You know.
So eventually it's gonna catch up.
It's gonna go in all the industries. It's gonna catch up. You know, right now they're shooting movies, VR movies. You know, they're shooting VR music videos, but it's still, you know, it gotta be more. Consumers gotta get more educated, you know, about it. Okay. Before anything. Yeah.
So who are some Chicago artists that you're listening to right now?
Out of Chicago, I can say I listen to Rico Reckless a lot. I like him as far as the street music. Who else am I listening to lately? Man, I'm trying to think, because I've been listening to a lot of ATL rappers lately. Okay. Like as far as Chicago, I can say that Rico Reckless is my favorite at the moment. That's doing like strictly gangster rap, drill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any R&B or female artists that you might have checked out?
Oh, I just found out about a new artist out of Chicago. What was his name? Richie, Gold Richie, I think. I just went to his mixtape release party at the Forge downtown. Mm-hmm. He's a great artist. He's gonna blow up soon. I'm confident about that. Female artists, not too many. But I met as far as customers that come to my studio, I met a lot of great vocalists and stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. But they're not established enough for me to even mention their name, you know. People won't know who I'm talking about.
Alright. So you mentioned you like Rico Reckless. Like recently Rico Reckless and Lil Mr. Video came out that was fighting and it went viral. Yeah. Since the incident, like Rico has capitalized on the incident. Like, what's your thoughts on it?
Smart. Very smart. Yeah. When I saw that, I remember that put some respect on my name. Yeah. Scene. I feel it was the same strategy. You know, when Vermin turned that into a money making thing, that's what he did right now. Like selling T-shirts and all this stuff. Yeah, he's smart.
Like you have your own label, you sign artists and work with artists with public relations. Do you think situations like this hurt or?
No, they help. They help a lot. Yeah, but depends how you want to be perceived as, you know, because if you're a savage rapper, people are gonna test that, and you're gonna have to prove it at some point, you know. Mm-hmm. If you're a ladies type of artist, you know, like me, you make R&B music, you know, you have to prove that as well, you know. Like any type of artist you are, people are gonna test it sooner or later, you know, and. I feel that as far as the PR, yeah, it's very important for you to be to promote your real personality, you know, and not to be fake about it.
So, in your personal opinion, they say a lot of gangster artists aren't gangster, a lot of trap artists aren't trappers. Like, how you feel about that?
It's true. It's very true, but as I said, people are always gonna test it, and it's gonna come out eventually, you know. But when you see a guy that is been locked up for gun violence or for a lot of, I don't know, for a big amount of drugs or stuff like that, and that's what they're talking about in their songs, that's good PR for them. Even though it's a bad thing, you know, in their life, like going to jail and stuff like that, as far as the PR, is not a bad thing because they just proved that they're what they're about in their songs, you know. Right. But if you talk all that shit in your songs and somebody's gonna come and test you in real life and put you on Facebook Live,
and you look like a clown.
I don't want to mention no names, but you might know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you look like a clown, and you know people are gonna stop listening to your music. You know, you're gonna lose a lot of fans.
So you said you like Rico Reckless. Have you guys met each other before?
Yeah, we actually met and we worked together before. Rich made that happen too. Rich is his engineer, and when I met him in person, I really changed my perception about him. Like as a person, at least towards me, he was a very cool guy, you know, and very easy to work with. His work ethic is great.
Yeah, I see you got 2 new tracks on his new mixtape, GTA 6.
Yeah, Actually, one of them was pushed as a single, which is that Cold Cut. That's one of my favorite songs that I produced last year. I could say it's my favorite song from last year. And yeah, that other song as well. That's a dope song too. And I feel we got a good vibe together when we work.
Yeah, that song was called Hurting.
Yeah.
Do you two guys got anything else coming out?
Yeah, we do. I don't know when it's gonna drop or if it's gonna drop, as I said before. So I'm just gonna let him drop it if he's gonna drop them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your Instagram name?
Instagram is versus Vlad, VERSUS VLLAD, and it's the same name on Facebook, versus Vlad. That's pretty much. But I'm more on Facebook than on Instagram.
No Twitter?
No Twitter. No. I gave up Twitter a couple of years ago.
Why you give up on Twitter?
Because I don't really see a lot of results on it, you know, and you're limited on Twitter. Like, you can't really do a lot of stuff on it as you can on Facebook, for example, or on Instagram.
So Twitter need to step it up.
Yeah.
Alright, you would like to give any shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Rich, my partner. Shout out to DJ Ken here in the room. Shout out to you as well for making this interview possible. And shout out to all the people that are focusing on their goals, man. And no matter what it is, bro, Christmas, Super Bowl, Easter, real people don't do that, bro. Real people stay working no matter what. So yeah, shout out to people that work hard to achieve their goals, you know, no matter what it takes.
That's facts, 100% facts. You gotta work, work, work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your boy Swag signing out. Peace.